morning, but this is just for hard, crazy sharp day. Done this in a while. Hey, still haven't sent your knife. Still have not sent your knife. It's sitting right in there. At this point, I'm thinking when you get back to San Diego, I would just make a trip up after work and drop your knife off on Friday or something. Audio is slightly muffled. I know why. Should have helped. Did that help? No, I forgot that I had this connected. I'm out here in the kitchen. The wife and kid are still sleeping, and so I had this connected, listening to. I was watching the best Christmas show ever made, the best Christmas movie ever made. Die Hard. So if it's still muffled for you, there's nothing else I can do. I don't know what else I could do. So no, I still have your knife, Josiah. Work is. My kids. It's California. It's 40 something degrees. It's just a little after 8. So, yeah, best Christmas movie ever. Now, my daughter would disagree because her favorite is A Christmas Story, and we're going to spend the entire day watching it. That's why I'm watching it on my phone in the kitchen before anybody gets up. So, and I got to say, Santa fucking knows me. This is from our friend Amanda. So, you too, Dave. We don't do, Christmas isn't a big thing anymore. We used to do big Christmases and stuff like that. My family's always done big Christmases, but I don't know if you guys remember. My father passed away on Christmas here a few years ago, like 3 years ago. And it kind of just took the wind out of the whole Christmas sales. So, what's up, Chris? I did get your message, Chris, about that knife. It's 40. It's warmed up to 44, 46 actually. Let's see here. I bet it's 46 because I'm in the middle between actual San Diego. Let me see what Benita says. Yes, it's 46. What's up, Anthony? So I did take that job, guys. I don't know if I haven't responded to any of you guys' comments on that stuff. I took the job. I'm doing construction landscaping. I'm actually working at SeaWorld on the new roller coaster. We're running all the freshwater lines, build a road. We're going to build another one if it stops raining. We can't work in the rain, so. Yeah, that's what you were saying. I was kind of suspect of the steel in that. I know that those are rare. But no, I'm just spending the morning on Christmas. We have a tiny little Christmas tree, no ornaments, just lights with my daughter's stuff around it. It's going to take me a little while to get back into Christmas. Christmas with my family is a big thing, and my dad was a big part of that. And now it's really hard to do anything that I want to do on Christmas. We didn't even go look at Christmas decorations. We have yet once listened to a Christmas song in this house. So for my wife, it's not a big deal. She's Buddhist. But I'm kind of torn. I want to do this big thing for Christmas, and I thought about let's get the tree out, but I just could not force myself to do it. It's too fresh of a memory. So, and then you guys would be happy to know, so that we don't have to. It's my case number and everything for the cyber crimes, cyber harassment, and stalking case that I started against the idiot that you guys saw in the comment section, because he was kind enough to email me afterwards from the same email address he's been using all the time. So he was kind enough to provide me with that information to provide to the detective who I forwarded that information on. So hopefully we can at least get him blocked from some of the social media platforms where he's not going to be. It's not so much that it bothers me, but it bothers my daughter, and it bothers you guys that are actually in the comments section. I tried to keep this channel. Oh, if you start playing Christmas music, every time someone plays Christmas music in November, especially before Thanksgiving, Santa is by law required to execute an elf. You didn't know that? So, So, but no, I have been sharpening some knives. I'm still sharpening knives for the Fire and Forest boys. I sharpen knives. I was going to make this announcement later in the week, but I don't know what our schedule's going to look like because if it stopped raining, there's a chance we might work this weekend. We haven't worked yet this week. We can't get to the job site. It's been raining. So I'm going to make the announcement. I am going to start taking on business, but there would be, it's construction landscaping. So it's not just landscaping that we go out. We actually do irrigation, fresh water, we build roads, stuff like that, like access roads. So it's a little more involved than just like landscaping. So a lot of heavy equipment, a lot of digging, a lot of PVC connectors and stuff. Like, yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a good group of guys. I like everybody I work with. It's a lot like being back in the military, where you can just sit around and spend a day doing fucking serious manual labor, but have fun at it because you guys are just standing around, having fun, talking while you work. I am burning about, my pants don't fit. I'm burning anywhere between 4 and 6,000 calories a day. I did an average, it's about 5,300 calories a day on the job site. And walking in the job site just from point A to point B and doing different jobs and being, hey, we got to work on this and, we're working on a road, about 9 miles a day. My hands do hurt. They make funny noises, but that's because I'm old. But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And there's room for promotion and growth and things like that. So, plus the knife designs are still coming out. So, oh yeah, that's good. That's good. A little bit of rye whiskey in your coffee on Christmas morning. But no, I just wanted to do I appreciate that, Anthony. I saw that, I think you were the one that commented about what the job was. I'm going to sneeze. What the job was and had some questions. But hey, it pays some bills. It takes some of the load off. I had said that when I reach a point, if it's not sustainable, that I would be an adult, and I did it. So, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's with a company. My buddy Matt, you've seen some of the videos. He helped me get the job. They needed people. They needed reliable people. They needed people that were responsible. And I said, well, I might act like a goofball, but down to it, I was a supervisor in the military. I applied for a supervisor position, but they want me to learn the job first. So I have to learn the job because I can't supervise things I don't know, which is 100% an accurate statement. So what's everybody else doing for Christmas? Yeah, you're right, Brad. And I'll tell you what, the day flies by. Like the first couple hours, because usually it's cold, because we get to the job site. I get there at like 5:30, and I'm dressed out, PPE, hard hat, all that shit, ready to go to work. By 6, it's like it's the other day. It was like 38 degrees at the job site down at Otay Lakes area, and then SeaWorld is right on the water, so it's got a different kind of chill to it there. So first couple hours kind of suck until you warm up. And then after you warm up, then, it'd be like 50 degrees and I'm just fucking sweating. You can see steam coming off of us. We're digging trenches and shoveling and shit. Yesterday was not a banner day. It wasn't a stellar day for us. It was kind of ugly. We all were, I was in a bad mood from the time I woke up. Christmas. It's a thing now. I wake up and I'm in a bad mood because, like I said, it just reminds me my dad died. It's associated with an event. That traumatic event is associated with an event that is full of joy most of the time. And so I wake up yesterday and I was mad. I asked my wife for 3 days, what do you want for Christmas dinner? You want anything for Christmas Eve? Do you want me to do a beef roast? Do you want me to turn a roast? I'll turn a pork roast in the rotisserie. And she's like, no, nothing special. I'm like, okay. So I wake up yesterday morning. They come back from skating. We weren't working because it was raining like hell here. I don't know if you know this. You can't have an excavator in the mud. They don't work real well, like the minis. And so I go into the living room. She's like, hey, can you go to Costco first thing and go get a pork roast? Isabel wants a pork roast and then go get. I was like, you want me to drive to Costco on Christmas Eve? It's going to be a fucking nightmare. And no joke, it took me 37 minutes to find a parking space. I went inside the store with a list of the stuff she wanted. they had two of those things, and neither of them were the food items that we were going to have yesterday. And so I had to drive around, and finally I found these like little pork roasts that are meant to go in a crock pot. And I turned it on the rotisserie, and it was not very good. I was not happy with it. It just didn't come out the way I would have expected. I usually just buy a full pork loin, and then I cut a roast out of it. These were tip roasts. These were pork loin tip roasts, and they weren't very good, and they didn't want to sit on. I had to skewer them onto the fucking thing, and it was so full of moisture, and it had been brined to the point where it just didn't crisp up on the outside, and it just was not what we were expecting. And so, but the fact was, I was at Costco at 10:30 on Christmas Eve, and that place was a madhouse, and I told Matt this. There was a guy that fucking would not, like, the aisles are crowded, the place is packed, it's a madhouse, and this guy is standing there trying to get a taquito fucking, like, just standing there waiting with his cart in the aisle, and I can't get through because it's just fucking crowded. I told him, I was like, look, sir, can you get out of the way? And he's like, oh, I'll just be, and she's cooking the taquitos. He's waiting on a free sample. And I have to admit that I feel guilty about bringing this to someone's life on Christmas Eve. But I told him that if he didn't move his fucking cart, I was going to cut his asshole out and feed it to him. Not my best moment. But it does say grumpy on my coffee mug. I imagine it'd be like calamari. I am going to do another video about the Farronforge Mordax. I have Elliot's button lock Mordax. As a matter of fact, I have it. If you guys want a preview of something that's coming up, I'm going to do a video. I may do it this weekend. No, it's not this. I have got, this is a Bob Terzuola 75 for 75 with the diamond in the pocket clip, handmade. There's going to be a video of full carbon fiber. This is Nico's knife that he picked up. It's got a unique blade shape. It's almost a karambit. I call it the Terzuola banana. It's got that banana shape, but it is really comfortable, and like I've cut very soft things with it. So I don't know if you guys know this. Bob's 75th birthday was this year, and Bob set out to make 75 knives for his 75th birthday. That is one of the 75 for 75. That's why I've got the diamond in the pocket clip. So I'm going to do a video about that. And if you guys have ever like talked or heard Bob talk or any of that, Bob is a great guy. And so I want to do that. And Nico wanted to buy the knife. Nico bought the knife strictly because Bob hadn't sold it yet. And Bob was not setting up a table really the next day. This was stuff that was supposed to go Friday Night Blade Affair. Nico bought that knife so that Bob could go home with no knives. Neither one of us got a lot of money, and he bought that knife not as an investment, but simply because he and I both agreed that we could not let Bob leave the Friday Night Blade Affair with knives on the table. So we had a good time. We had a good time that Friday night. So that's coming. I got a pin video as soon as I could figure out where the fuck I put my other tactical pin. I had a guy send me a couple, and he was like, do you want to do them for a video? I mean, I have others. I have several other tactical pins. But I was looking for my Wii one. The thing is, he can sell. Nico's going to be able to sell that knife. Bob made out. Nico made out. I have a piece of S125V here that's going to get turned to a knife soon. I just have got to get this schedule worked out to where I'm not, you know, when you're working that hard and you're burning that many calories throughout the week, the last thing I want to do is go and fucking work all day Saturday on knives, because that's the only day I'm really going to have to do it. I suppose I could go in the afternoons, but then, you know, the fact is I'm getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Oh God, why S125V? Because I sold a handful of knives in S125V. So, I made a promise to a couple people, and then I told them, it's going to take a while. S125B is a nightmare. I got one that I did for Jeremy Morris. Actually, I did two for Jeremy Morris. He has a sea snake and a scorpion. The scorpion is still here at my house. Or I'm sorry, sea snake's still at my house. By the way, guys, when the scorpion does come out, that's the one that you saw the prototype I made for my daughter. It has a Star Wars logo. We're going to have to change the name. I spoke to Elliot about it. We're going to do it through Honest EDC, which is his other business venture. And so, Belina Rogers. Merry Christmas to you too, Miss Rogers. That is a female, correct? I mean, it's unusual that we have a young lady log into my YouTube channel. But what was I saying? The name for that is going to be changed to the Habu, which is a Japanese poisonous snake, a small one. There's so many other knives called the Scorpion. There's just not one called the Habu, Habu. Sea snake should be coming. I was talking with Russell from Artisan Knives. I'm kind of stoked. He was saying we may have prototypes by January, and mentioned something about maybe me being at SHOT Show to help run the table at Artisan Knives because they need English speakers. And I was like, well, if Artisan is willing to foot the bill so that I'm not screwing myself on money, then yes, I absolutely would do that. But I would have to take time off for work for that. So if you guys are going to SHOT Show, you might see me there. I need a haircut, but I'm not trimming my beard. I might not ever trim my beard again. I may look like a big redneck Santa Claus. So I'm going to take this back to the range again. I messed with the sights. I did some internal work. So I took it to the range and I shot it, and it's shooting really accurate. It's shooting in the same place every time. As a matter of fact, it's shooting a little bit to the right, so I need to drift the sights over. It's shooting a little bit to the right, but it's putting, I put at 10 or 15 yards, I put two. Now, granted, I was across the bench, and I drew a bead right back on the same spot I was aiming before, which was the bullseye, and I shot a little high and right. And I think the height was because the target was moving, but basically the holes were touching. So it's shooting super, super accurate, which I would expect. It's got a match grade barrel and a match grade trigger and all that shit in it. So it's shooting really tight groups at 10 and 15 yards. It's just shooting a little bit to the right. I don't think that the height is an issue. I think that's because the ventilation was pushing the target back a little bit, and you could see that it was moving a little bit. So I would imagine that a lot of that has to do with the range ventilation. So I'm going to take some weights and clip them to the target and see if that fixes it. And then I need to sight back in my 44 Magnum, because the rear sight assembly, it's an adjustable sight. And so the gear mechanism that was in it stopped working. I took the gunsmith to put a brand new rear sight assembly in it with the adjustments for height and windage and elevation and windage. And I have not sighted it back in since then. So that match grade 44 Magnum of mine, Jesus, I need a haircut, something fierce. That needs sighted back in now that I have the sight. Matter of fact, I even have the little screwdriver sitting right here next to my range stuff because I was going to go this weekend, and I don't think I'm going. So, God, there's 15 of you people willing to spend time with me on Christmas Day not talking about anything important. Oh, but what I was saying about the Mordax, I have come to the conclusion, as much as I love my NTAC, that the Mordax is my favorite of all of the Ferrum Forge designs, which makes sense because what are you doing in Washington? It makes sense because I like the NTAC so much that a larger version of it, which is basically what the Mordax is, actually the Mordax, Damn it, Phil. You were supposed to come to the Inland Empire meetup. Yeah, I know, and that's why I got so upset when that person came on and was spouting such horrible things. Valina Rogers. Why does that? Okay, Valina Rogers. Why does that sound familiar? Why are you alone in the hospital? I don't know why. It just, as I see it more and more often, I was like, Valina Rogers. Why does it sound familiar? I can't. I just call you Captain America. Captain Rogers. So I'm trying to think if there's anything big else going on except the job and the knife release that hopefully is coming. I might be at SHOT Show. I've got my San Diego Police on some of my earlier feeds. Okay, well then that makes sense. There's Alex. Alex is actually the one that gave me this pin, this expensive ass Hinderer pin. Yes, I am still doing edges. As a matter of fact, I have a whole box of the Maker's Choice ones that I'm gonna post a before and after picture of all of them. The guys gave them to me. Weather's been shitty. I haven't sharpened. Holidays, they're gonna have to be understanding. That's the thing too. Chris asked me when I first took this new job, he said, do we need to take the Emler Edge off of our menu? And I was like, no, I can still do it. But here's the thing. You just have got to make sure that they know that the turnaround times will be longer. So usually when the guys would give me a knife that day, if the guys gave me a box of knives that day and the next day, that's all I did. Everybody else's stuff got moved. Now with the job, their stuff might take as long as some of the other stuff was taken, but it's still head of the line. So, that's gonna stink. That's gonna stink. I made blue mashed potatoes for my daughter. We had you guys are gonna laugh at this, but I came up with a sauce on the pork roast when you slice it. It's garlic cloves, cilantro, vinegar, and oil. It's almost like it's like an aioli without the egg. In the process, truck hit my driver's side, broken pelvis. Oh goddamn, Bradley. I joked one time about like if I was ever gonna shoot someone just for a pain factor, that I would shoot them in the pelvis. A lot of nerves in that area. Holy shit, dude. Holy shit. That fucking sucks. Fuck. So, oof. Yeah. That doesn't sound good. Can you scratch your wiener if you need to? I mean, Kyle hasn't been on a live feed for a while. Then again, exec with my edge. The execs are easy. As a matter of fact, I'm not gonna lie to you, the Thai Mordaxes are a pain. All the Mordaxes are a pain. They have this big belly area right here. And so it's really hard. Remember how I told you guys when you sharpen not to lift your elbow? It's real on those with that big pronounced belly and the thinner blade. They can be kind of a pain, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't want to associate so much with the guys' knives, but ProTech does a horrible job on their edge grinds. All of them. I have 3 ProTechs in there that I'm going to use as an example of how fucked up ProTech's edge grinds are. And when you're dealing with something that's in, M390 or 20 CV, and it's really chisel ground on the entire edge of the blade, it makes it a pain. But I've been working around sure, curving Mordax is a pain. But still, I love this knife because it's got so many features. Like, it's got the big belly that you could use. Like, this would be an outdoorsman style knife. This would be something like that. If that was a fixed blade, that would have been something that would have been in our gear growing up on a farm as hunters. So, I'm actually hanging out with you guys because my family's still sleeping. My daughter skated really early yesterday. Like, I woke up at 5. I want to say I woke up at 5 yesterday, and they were already gone on Christmas Eve. And didn't get home from the ice rink until around 8:30 or 9 o'clock, and that's my daughter asked me if I could go and my wife had my daughter come ask if I could do the pork roast. I don't see an issue with N690. Now let's talk about nice stuff. So a lot of people complain, they're like, "Oh, that fucking garbage budget steel." N690 is a very good steel. Um, Blade Man, what's up, brother? Nothing. Merry Christmas. N690 is a very good steel. This takes a frighteningly sharp edge, toothy, crisp edge, and it does hold it fairly well. But it's a lot like S35VN. It'll hold it fairly well. Does it hold it like 20 CV? No, but it also is really, really easy if your edge is starting to go. If you don't wait too long, just to strop it back up, VG10. It's very similar with a little bit more nitrogen. There's a lot of people that use N690 in Damascus with N2, N16, I want to say. I can't remember what the nickel steel is. It's a very, very good steel. Wet white from Payne's when I said clean a deli slicer from unsliced at dimes. Oh. Oh, chunk off my fingernail. I will say clavicle pain. I had mine. I don't have a collarbone from here on. It got removed. I have a spot right here where basically where the collarbone comes together, where you have the cup. They left enough bone to keep those two attached. That way I don't have a floating shoulder. That hurt so bad. That hurt so bad when I woke up from surgery. That was my first shoulder surgery. First of 4. And then they went back in. They had to clean some stuff up a second time. The third time was when they had to reattach my bicep tendon, and then they did a bunch more work inside. I had a labral tear, a bunch of other stuff. But at least now I can put my arm above my head. That one's starting to hurt. I'm starting to worry about that one. But, so, what did everybody want for Christmas? Did anybody ask for something special for Christmas? I got myself something special for Christmas. Nathan. I got myself something special for Christmas because I know in this house there's a good likelihood that I'm not getting a Christmas present under that tree. It's just not something. My wife and I have never done that. We don't do birthday presents. We don't do anniversary presents. We don't get each other Christmas presents, except occasionally. I've gotten my wife a couple really nice Christmas presents, and she has too. I have a PlayStation 3 and 4 that were presents from my wife. But the Christmas tree was an afterthought this year, and the stuff that's under it is all for my daughter. I got myself a UTX 85 Spartan that is the 25th. It was the Blade Show Night 2019 edition with the coin and the fucking certificate and the 25. I got it from Nico. And I knew Nico needed some cash. He just had that surgery. I got the job. I had money come in from a sale of property. The little dude needed some money. I bought it from him. That was basically my Christmas present to him and to myself. So that was basically the deal. And then my wife looked at me and says, "Doesn't he owe you the money for the trip to Portland?" I was like, "We'll talk about that later. We can talk about that later." They were heat treated. Wait, what are we talking about, Jared? Jared. They were heat treat on 20 CV, and your blades was the heat treat. This is too dear. Yeah, they used a very good. So if you've ever owned a Reat in M390, the 20 CV that we used on my knives is going to be very, very similar. The edge it takes, the things like that. I love Reat's M390, and I was like, so Elliot was like, "It's good that you like that, because the 20 CV you're using, we provided them with the heat treat parameters, and you use the same Like any of WE's M390 is going to be heat treated the same as Reat's M390, which is amazing. I can't say enough about how well my Reat Horizon D has held up. And I mean, for as fancy as it is, it gets a lot of use. It really does. It gets a lot of kitchen use for certain things because it is so frighteningly sharp. So, but yeah, like I said, I'm gonna do a video about this again because of how much I really, really, really love this design in this and the Intac. So you'll probably see a what do you want to call it? A guest star in this video, which is my Intac. And for as much as I carry this, it holds up well. It's the finish that's on it. It's just a blast and tumble finish on the handles. It's got some snail trails and stuff. I'm gonna do a video about that. So Phil, while you're still here, that Spyderco Endura that you gave me as a birthday present in ZDP 189. I sharpened that at 400 grit. It seems to love being at 400 grit, but I sharpen it at 400 grit now because I carry it on the construction site, and I'm not gonna lie to you, 2 weeks I was cutting. So we use this stuff called BioGuard, which is a root guard. It's fiberglass with these little buttons all through it. It keeps the roots from growing through and under the sidewalk and bringing the sidewalk up. But it's in a big roll and you have to cut it. And I used that knife for 2 weeks for cutting basically fiberglass mat. I cut open about 8 or 9 concrete bags. I cut a bunch of wood stakes with it. Like they were just square, and I cut stake points on them for driving them in the ground. They were not for that. They were for something else, and I cut them into stakes. 2 weeks of serious hard use. And that knife really was still pretty sharp when I took it to the Christmas party on Friday. I did sharpen it over the weekend because I was like, I'm seeing about every 2 weeks I'm gonna have to touch this knife up, is what I was thinking. Real easy to touch up. I sharpened over the weekend, then we didn't work this week. But, speaking of the Christmas party, that's where this came from. I won this at the company Christmas party in the raffle. So, but, just trying to think, it's been a while since we did this. You know, I put up the one video. I know you guys saw the Fiberlight fire starter video. Go see those guys online. I don't think I have the kit right here. I believe it's still in my car. That little fire kit is like an outdoorsman's dream. If you can light that on water, like I showed in the video, there is no reason you can't strike up a fire in a rainstorm. You know what I mean? It is some amazing stuff. As long as you keep it, even if your shit's wet, the ground is wet, you're going to be able to start a fire if you got the proper amount of tinder and your wood is dry. It should be no problem. And there's enough in that kit to start several fires. I did find out, though, that my kit is a little bit more. I thought it was like, that's the kit, and they were like fucking $20. The kit, just the can and the whistle striker is like 14 or 15 bucks, and then the case, that leather case, is like another 20 bucks, and then that shredder I think is like $8 or something like that. So if you want the full kit that I have, it is more than I thought it was. But those guys gave that to me as a gift. It was great. I talked to them for a little bit. I hung out at their table a lot. That's where I met David Horstman for hiking with a Viking. If you guys don't follow him, you should go over. I would love to see him get his subscribership up to a point where he can do more than like 9 or 10 minute videos. Hang on a second. I think my daughter's up. I gotta turn. She's up. I hear the dog. Let me turn the. Hi, dog. That's a huge Hogue Doug Ritter. Good morning, child. Happy Christmas. Merry New Year. What? I said good morning, kiddo. Merry Christmas. Oh, you guys want to see? Like I said, Christmas is not a big event around here. So, in the cluttered corner where my daughter keeps all of her books, and there's a box full of other stuff and a fan. This is where our Christmas tree is. It's a little Christmas tree. Oh, somebody put Merry Christmas on it. No decorations, but that's in the corner where all my knife stuff is. These are boxes that have to go out after New Year. You guys remember the video I did with the mysterious benefactor that sent me the box of stuff, and in it was a Benchmade, let me say it so that you guys don't think I'm just saying crooked River. Crooked River, it's just the way it says. So Crooked River, the big one, that's a nice knife. I'm conflicted because I get so upset with Benchmade about stuff that is screwed up. It's just that knife is so good. And then I sharpened it, and I was like, it was all screwed up. Even though I'd already sharpened it once, it was still all screwed up. But I sharpened that for Matthew, and I sharpened a knife that Matthew made. It was a kit knife that my buddy Matthew bought for his mother, and I picked out the scales. He made the handles, brought it over here. I sharpened it for him. Came out great. It's a great big, it's like this. It was basically this knife, same knife, but it was a kit. He pinned the handles and put handles. It came out gorgeous. But that was a Christmas present for his mother, and I can say this because his mother doesn't watch my channel. So, well, the daughter getting up, that means that the wife is shortly behind. So we'll keep this up until she at least comes downstairs and sees we'll see what's going on. Because she's going to want to open the Christmas presents, I imagine, soon. But this has been a weird year. So she's 12, and we managed to keep the magic alive and let her believe in fucking Santa Claus all this time. And it's kind of sad for me because she knows. You can tell she knows. She didn't say anything about asking Santa for gifts that that Mom and Dad might not be able to get. She didn't ask anything about a note for Santa. She didn't want to go see Santa. And so I think that this was the year. This was our Polar Express year. And it's kind of sad because I wanted her to be 20 before she found out. There's my door jamb. Why is it under the kitchen cupboard? I think it got kicked over. The cat was playing with it, and it got kicked clear up under the dishwasher. So, yeah, that's kind of sad. I wanted to keep that. I wanted to keep that magic alive for her, but it all started to kind of fucking decline after my dad passed. It took the magic out of Christmas. It just kind of took the wind out of the sails. So, my garlic needs to go. I think this garlic needs to go. I think that's the one that was behind everything. Here's the fresh one. But I'm trying to think how old my sister was when she finally found out that Santa was Mom and Dad. Oh, here we go. That's the Scorpion, soon to be renamed the Habu. This is the one that's coming out from Artisan. This is the one that they're releasing. Just enough of a curve to it that you know what? I can't point to any one knife. Let's see. I'm back. Got it. So this is going to be quick because I hear my wife waking up. It's bittersweet because what? 3 miles. Get in my truck. Stole a case. It was a center console. So now I forget what we were going to talk about. Yeah, see, I got to go. They're already arguing. So I don't know. It's probably not going to be a great Christmas day. Already started. So, but anyway, there was no knife that I could say would be, huh? It's a joke. So anyway, I don't know if I could draw this out. Anyway, there's no one knife that I could point to that would be like my knives are derivative of. It's like kind of the things like picking and choosing certain things from each knife. That knife in hand with the blade out forward, you know what it most reminds me of, now that I think about it, is the Cold Steel Toughlight. Because it's got that curvature. But anyway, guys, you guys take it easy. Have a Merry Christmas. I'm going to give my kid a big hug and wish her Merry Christmas, and then
when she finishes her math, we will do Christmas presents and stuff. But I gotta take the dog out for a walk and stuff. So you guys take it easy. I love you all. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me on Christmas Day. And I will talk to you all later.